This is Brandon Rabar, your host for today, and this is a dispatch from Daily Thunder. Every story, every game, every day. Welcome to the Daily Thunder podcast. I'm your host, Brandon Rabar, beat writer for dailythunder.com. I am joined, unfortunately, for the last time by Ryan Woods, contributor to dailythunder.com. Not unfortunately that you're with me, but unfortunately that we won't have any more of these post-game reaction podcasts. How you doing, man?
I'm sad. Just incredibly sad.
I'm this weird mix of sad. Like, it's mostly sad. I'm like 69% sad and 31% proud. I'm really bummed out because they could have had that game. We're talking about Game 7, Thunder versus Rockets, 104-102. Houston wins. Here's my deal. Had the Thunder been beaten by 10 points or by even 20, 25 points, you're like, okay, the Rockets were clearly the better team. They have two top 10 superstars. They deserve the win. They deserve to move on. But the Thunder were right there. And that's what's just going to eat at you for not only tonight, but the next few days and, throughout the rest of the offseason, regardless of the fact of could they beat the Lakers? Probably not. I mean, it probably was going to happen, but it would have been fun to see him try. But it was the Rockets, Russ, Harden, all the narratives, all the storylines, all those things, and they were 1 point away. What were your thoughts on the game, man?
Well, let's start with Dort. It was the game of his life.
Yeah.
He hit 5 threes, I believe, is what he ended with.
I lost count.
Sorry, 6. He was 6-12. His 6-3 was with about 4 minutes left, and it tied the game at 99. Harden had 17 on 15 shots. Harden went 1 of 9 from the three-point line, and Oklahoma City lost the game.
Yeah.
So that's my initial takeaway is two things. That right there, Harden 17 points, Dort 30, and then Billy playing big the entire game. Noel with 14 minutes. Baisley had 15, was a +9 in 15 minutes. And Adams played 33 minutes. Adams played 7 minutes more than Gallinari. I mean, Billy wasn't great all series, but Billy was really bad tonight, in my opinion. But like you said, the game was right there, even after all of that. And Chris Paul had a 8-footer in the lane with 40 seconds left to take the lead, and just short-armed it. And that's how it goes.
And you see him hit that shot all season long. Like, that's just what he's done all season long. And in those moments, it's frustrating because this game went exactly how the Thunder would want it to go. The Rockets have been winning all these blowout games, and the Thunder win close games. The Thunder are a clutch team. The Rockets are the exact opposite. They come apart in the clutch. And it was happening yet again. And then just some bizarre things that we just don't see. Like you said, Chris Paul missing that shot. Robert Covington just having the night of his life. Obviously can't complain about that too much because of what Lou Dort did. But seeing Covington and Gordon hit like that when they just haven't been hitting like that, and see Gallinari score 4 points. And I'm with you. I just don't understand how Gallinari plays so few minutes when he was like the perfect small ball 5, and how Adams and Noel play all the minutes. And then Baisley was outstanding. In his 10 minutes in the first half, I mean, he looked incredible. And then he didn't even play the entire third quarter. I just don't understand what was happening. He played 5 minutes in the second half after a great first half. And then I'm just kind of speechless. Donovan, I think, deserves all the credit for this season and the Coach of the Year, honors he's been getting. I think it's well-deserved. But, man, you can't help but to wonder if they just played small ball, or if rotations and lineups would have been just a little bit tweaked, how different this could have gone.
Yeah, it's a head-scratcher, I'll go back to, we've talked about it. I said it just feels like it has to be above him. Maybe that's giving him the benefit of the doubt too much. Maybe he's just a stubborn guy, but maybe Presti has his hand in these decisions because we saw it with Scott Brooks. I mean, I could dig up a million tweets of me asking Oklahoma City to go small against a team that's not playing a big, and but even more so like this series, like I was asking them to take Perkins off the floor when the Heat were just playing Chris Bosh. Chris Bosh is a big.
Yep.
This team isn't playing anybody above 6'7", and they were adamant about playing a big. They were adamant about playing a center the entire game. The starting lineup minus Adams plus Schroeder was a plus 37.
Wow.
Adams was the starting lineup with Adams minus Schroeder was a minus 34.
Oh my gosh.
It's, I mean, Adams is a fine player. No one's denying that. I don't know why Oklahoma City needs to continue to try and trot him out there. He looked. There were a couple games where he looked a bit more energetic, a bit more springy, and could do things and was aggressive. Tonight was one of those nights from Adams where he looked hurt, where he just looks hobbled and not himself. And when he's that way, he's just not effective on either end. They gave up 8 offensive rebounds in the first half. And if you're not going to get boards, like, it's just, I don't understand why he would leave him out there. Bazley was just a joy to watch this entire series. So stoked for him.
Yep.
And to just wrap, we don't have to harp on Billy this entire time, but I do want to say there are going to be a lot of people calling for Donovan not to get a new deal, hoping he'll take another job. All of that's fine. Oklahoma City's decision on whether to keep Donovan going forward will have nothing to do with what happened tonight, nothing to do with what happened in this series. If they think Donovan's the guy to groom these young guys, then he'll stay. He'll be the coach. He'll get a new deal. If they don't, then he won't be the coach. But that's what it's going to come down to. Whether they think he's the guy to groom these young guys, Shea, Dort, Bazley. If they think he's that good of a developmental coach, then he's here. But that will be what this decision will be made from, and it will not hinge on this game.
This season is just, I think we both think, is just going to be its own very cool, very special, very surprising, entertaining, and fun thing. And I think once the dust settles, I think the Thunder will pivot to rebuilding for the future. Presti talked a lot last summer about, how it doesn't just all happens at once. It happens in phases. Chris Paul's value is higher than it's been in years. Dennis Schroeder's value has never been higher. Danilo Gallinari, you might be able to sign and trade into a contender because contenders don't really have the cap space, but they have bad contracts, so they might be willing to sign and trade for an asset. And if you do trade even just one of those guys, this team is completely different. This team is successful because basically 4 or 5 guys. And even one of them goes, and this isn't this team anymore. It's really not. So I think if one of them goes, they all go. I personally think it's going to happen. The 2021 draft is stocked, and I'm getting somewhere. This seems like I'm off the rails here. I think that Presti will want one of those guys in the 2021 draft, try to tank for Cade Cunningham from Oklahoma State, maybe to add to Shea, Dort, and Bazley, because that's what this is all about now. Like you said, if Donovan sticks around, it's because they think that he can develop Shea, Dort, and Bazley into even better players and stars and maybe superstars, depending on the guy. Obviously Shea is the guy. Right now he's like the cornerstone guy, but you see enough in both Bazley and Dort to say maybe these guys are going to be better than just role players. Because, where they were drafted or not drafted, it seemed like the ceiling was like, hey, if they can become a really good role player, that's a huge win. They might be able to be more than that. And it just depends on if Presti thinks Donovan can make them become more than that. Moving on, though, back to this game and back to this series. I do think that the Thunder have a lot to be proud of. This Rockets team is supposed to be a contender when they're fully healthy. And you've seen in the regular season this small ball give every contender, the Bucks, the Lakers, the Clippers, hard problems. And the Thunder were 1 point away from beating them in a Game 7 series. I think the Thunder have a lot to be proud of.
Yeah, they definitely do. You see a lot of it on Twitter tonight saying, how much fun this team has been to watch and how this team was more enjoyable to root for, to be engaged with than teams in the past that had more star power, more maybe a higher ceiling. So yeah, I mean, it was a blast of a year. They were a really fun story all year, but I think Thunder fans knew they may be a little more serious than they were getting credit for, and they showed that in this series. They played really well in the games that they won, and they played really well in this game tonight for a lot of it. And they made a lot of mistakes, but yeah, I mean, this team overachieved maybe more than any other team in the league, other than maybe what you're seeing out of Miami right now. There's always a ton of positives when it comes to when a team just overachieves like this. You're going to get that. I think you'll hear these players tonight talk about how bummed they are that this game didn't go their way, but a lot to be excited about for Thunder fans.
Yeah, the future is bright with Shea, Baisley, Dort, all those draft picks. And then, if they bring the team back, hey, that's exciting and fun. Maybe they can use some of those assets to get another great player. There's teams out there, if you wanted to flip Steven Adams and add a couple of draft picks to him, you can get another scorer on this team. And all of a sudden, bring the other guys back and you got, a stealthy looking team, or you go the exact opposite and tear it down. Either way, Presti's got so many options.
It does feel like the league is so much more open than it's been over the last decade. Like, it just kind of feels like this weird gap right now in the league where, I wouldn't be surprised if any team left in the bubble won this thing.
Right.
And so, to your point, I don't think Oklahoma City is that far away, just because I don't think there's one standout team right now. So it does make me curious, what does Presti think of all of this? And if he thinks that this team, and I do want to get back to the game because there are a few more things, but it is hard not to look forward now.
Right. I know. I'm the same way. I keep finding myself going to the future because, the season is now over. So our minds automatically go down the road, but there's more to unpack here. But
I'll abruptly, in a very non-smooth way, take us back to the game. Schroeder had a rough night. Schroeder he had 12 points, 5 of 17 from the floor, 2 of 6 from 3. I thought he had a really, really good look at the rim late, and he turned and looked for a foul immediately after, but it looked like he just had a lot of space, a layup we've seen him make all year. The shot that ended the series was a PJ Tucker floater after Adams closed out to him. And I'm just kind of jumping around the box score right now. Jeff Green hit 3 of 4 again. Like you said, Gordon went 5 for 9. Covington went 6 for 11. And Oklahoma City turned the ball over 21 times. So I think those are back-breaking numbers when you look at the box score. The opportunity that they had getting that game out of Dort and his defense, I mean, he was just sensational tonight on both ends. The way that he guarded Harden and forced him into threes after a bunch of dribbling. And then hats off to Russ tonight. He had a much better game.
Yep.
The stretch where Harden went to the bench late in the third, there was about a 5 or 6 minute stretch there where Harden was off the floor between those two quarters, and Oklahoma City had a chance to. They put the starting unit with Schroeder instead of Dort, and the 3-guard lineup, and had some success, but Russ made enough enough of a run there to just keep the score kind of where it was when Harden left the floor.
Yep.
We had the 5 point, the Chris Paul three, and then one more, the Schroeder steal and layup that got Harden back on the floor with about 9 minutes left with a tie game. But I thought Russ did more than his part to keep them close when Oklahoma City could have really jumped on those minutes with Harden off the floor. But yeah, Covington, huge night, despite getting his share of licks on the other end. He shot the ball really well tonight. Gordon shot the ball really well tonight, and Harden made a great defensive play late that he deserves a lot of credit for. It's sad that we were just so close to one of the all-time nights as a Thunder fan, an all-time night on NBA Twitter, whether you're a fan of either team or not. It was just the fact that it was that close, and it ends with Oklahoma City failing to get the ball inbounds was it's just a bummer, a big bummer.
It was a bummer that we didn't even get to see a shot, like an attempt.
I'll ask you, were you shocked that we didn't even get a shot?
I was.
Were you surprised that Oklahoma City called another timeout and it ended up going to Adams as he fell to the ground? Were you surprised by that? Because I have to say I was not surprised at all that we didn't.
I wouldn't have been surprised by past Thunder teams that happened, but I was surprised by this Thunder team that it happened, because this Thunder team is executed so much better than past Thunder teams. So I was surprised by that. And I wish that the ball would have been in Chris Paul's hands more in those last few minutes. When you look at the stats, like you mentioned earlier, Lou Dort scoring 30 points, James Harden having an absolutely dreadful night. And then you look at the stats, field goal percentage, the Thunder's 46.1, the Rockets 39.8. 3-point percentage, the Thunder 47.1, the Rockets 34.7. The Thunder had 16 free throw makes, the Rockets had 17. Rebounds, Thunder out rebounded them by 2. Assists, the Thunder out assisted them by 6. It really came down, points in the paint, the Thunder had more. It came down to turnovers. That's really like the only stat that the Rockets beat the Thunder in, was just turnovers. Yep. It's kind of nuts. Everything else was the exact same amount of made field goals. They had one more 3-point make than we did, and one more free throw make than we did. It's nuts. So that was the 2-point difference. It's crazy.
And you can go and find, we can go and find the delay of game, technical, the missed free throw late by Gallo, which was his first missed free throw since they've been in Orlando.
Yep.
He was like 44 or 45 straight free throws before he missed that one. So really surprised to see Chris Paul not taking that free throw after the night that Gallo had. And then I think he had just been reinserted into the game.
Right.
Because they have been kind of going offense and defense. I was really surprised to see Chris Paul not taking that. But yeah, like you're saying, the turnovers, I thought Shea had a really rough night tonight. He did hit that 3 late that was huge. But I'm puzzled by his game sometimes, when it looks like he creates the look that he wants, and I think his release is just, he still feels like it's too slow to get it off and for it to be what they want.
Right.
So I'm excited to see if he can, sharpen that and make that release a bit quicker between now and then the time they play next, which, by the way, who knows when game 1 of next season will be.
Yeah.
When we see this team again, whatever they look like. But kind of a disappointing night. I was going to look, he had 3 turnovers. Gallinari had 4. Dort had 4. Chris Paul had 6. So
yeah, it's just unlike this team.
And it was very hectic early on. I think they had 8 turnovers in the first quarter or something like that. They had a lot there in the first 12 minutes, and you could tell the game was just a bit fidgety early on. It took them a while to settle in.
I mean, this was pretty much a dead even game and a dead even series. Losing off of a PJ Tucker floater for a team that refuses to shoot mid-range shots, and of all people, PJ Tucker to hit it. It just feels like a missed opportunity with the night that Dort had and the night that Harden had. And then you just see things like Gallinari's night and Schroeder's night, some of Billy's questionable rotations. It's this weird mix of pride for the series and the season, and then just disappointment because of what could have been.
Mm-hmm.
And to get that burden of the first round series off your back, to change the narratives of for Chris Paul and the Thunder, and then other side with the Rockets and the Harden trade and the Russ trade, and just all those things.
And what it would have meant, for Houston had they gone out in the first round to the team that they traded 2 first-round picks and 2 pick swaps to just to unload the player that housed them. There was so much riding on this game for Houston, and it could have gone. I mean, they could get swept by LA in the second round, and all of those things could still, trigger all of those moving parts. But it would have, it just would have been such an amazing night. It's such a crowning for Oklahoma City after the offseason they had last year, getting sent home at the buzzer. That did cross my mind. Like, are they about to hit a 3 to win a game, to win a series, and send a team home after having happened to them like last year? It would have been wild. Would have been wild.
It would have been the storybook ending, and we didn't even get the chance to see it happen because they couldn't get the ball in bounds. It's just,
Oh, there was a lot of talk about a lob to Adams. Like, there's so many people taking screenshots of how open the paint was.
I saw that.
They had help coming. The only people that thought that was a good idea are people that aren't watching Oklahoma City night in, night out. No, with 1.1, there is no chance Adams catches it, gets it up to the rim, and makes it in 1.1 seconds, no matter how close to the basket he is, because of how swarming the Rockets would have been at that point. Like, there's no other options. He either catches it and makes it, or he doesn't. He has no second option, and that's not the place to put Steven Adams in, and which makes it even a bigger question of why he was in the game at all for that last inbounds. Like, if he's going to be a screener, they're just going to switch it. Like, that's what they do.
No, you're right. That was the thing. Why was he even in there? And I saw what you saw too. I think Channing Frye tweeted it out, and a lot of people were talking about it. And it always looks different when you look at things either in a still image or in slow motion. Things are a lot different in real speed and game speed, and they'll recognize it as soon as the pass goes there. They'll swarm. It's not as easy as it looks. But yeah, I don't know why he was in there, like you said, for a screen. But just put all your quick shooters in there. That's it. Just what could have been, Ryan.
It kind of sums up the whole series, right? Like, everything that we wanted to happen, and the ball went to Steven Adams.
Didn't even go to Steven Adams though. Even worse.
Exactly. Just a chef's kiss on all of that.
That said, if you would have told me at the beginning of the season in October that the Thunder were going to take the Rockets to the last single 1.2 seconds of a game 7, I'd be like, wow, that would be amazing. And if you told me that we had an undrafted rookie free agent who shut down James Harden and scored 30 points, I would be. And then we had another rookie that we were clamoring to get more minutes because he was so great in his few minutes. We wanted to see him play over Nerlens Noel and Steven Adams. I'd be pumped. If you would have told me Shea, even though he struggled, he still had 19 points on 11 shots, 3 of 4 from 3. If you would have told me all those things, I'm like, man, that's amazing. I'll take that 10 times out of 10. But when you're there and in the moment and you see how close they were to beating the Rockets, it's frustrating, but we'll get over this. I still haven't decided if I'm going to root for Russ and the Rockets. I want good things for Russ, but here's the thing, like you alluded to earlier, if the Rockets go out in the second round and if they get swept or if they lose in 5, they could blow it up. And ultimately that's great for the Thunder because they own their draft picks over the next several years. So the sooner that they're bad, the better for the Thunder.
Mm-hmm. That's absolutely true. Their cap situation is really, really tough for them to make major changes. There's no way to trade that Russ contract right now, at least, especially with him dealing with another injury. So I would expect Houston, if they lose in this next series, to try and pivot to something new, but there may not be much for them to do. They've really sold out to this small ball style of play, and hats off to them. It paid off. So I'm very interested to watch them. By no means am I rooting for them, but I will be very interested to see how they play LA and how LA plays them. I think we'll see a lot of the same issues with another team that just doesn't have anybody to guard James Harden. I think his life will be made a lot easier in the next series. You know, LA has the size that can actually take advantage of them playing small. So I'm very interested to see how that series plays out.
Yeah, James Harden is relieved to not have to deal with Lou Dort anymore. He is pumped about playing LeBron instead of Lou.
Yeah, KCP is a different assignment, that's for sure.
I think the Lakers are going to win. It will be fun to see what small ball does to that Lakers team. To kind of put a pin on this game and this series and this season, we had to give it to this team, Chris Paul and his leadership, the young guys for stepping up. Gallo was great all season long. Schroeder is either going to win or should win Sixth Man of the Year. I think all the guys, for the most part, overachieved. The future is bright. Disappointing way to end the season when they could have won, but ultimately a successful season, and the future is very, very bright for the Oklahoma City Thunder.
Yeah, and a final shout out to Chris Paul for first, obviously an awesome season on and off the floor for the Thunder, but all the work that has gone in, that he's been instrumental in behind the scenes to get these playoffs and just everything happening in Orlando. Outstanding job, everything he's done, spreading awareness on and off the floor for causes that are incredibly just. So just hats off to him. It is, when he was traded to Oklahoma City, I would have never dreamed that the next 12 months would be so much fun rooting for him on this team.
I'm glad you said that, because that is the perfect way to. He has been the ultimate pro on and off the court for this team, and whether he's here or not here, he has made the Thunder a better organization, and he has made these young guys, Shea, Dort, and Bazley, the core of the Thunder moving forward, better players, and from all sounds of it, better men off the court as well. So whether he's back or not, he has made an everlasting impact on this team moving forward. So thank you to Chris Paul. Very well.
That's absolutely right.
And thank you for listening to our podcast throughout these playoffs, throughout the bubble. And we're still going to be bringing you Thunder news every single day. We're going to pivot. We're going to start talking about trades and free agency and rebuilding or bringing the team back and all those fun things.
And the draft pick.
And a draft pick, that Denver draft pick, number 25 overall, which could turn into some other things depending on what Presti decides to do. I'm going to fire up the trade machine as soon as we get off of here, buddy.
There we go. And the draft night will be fun to see who goes undrafted, to know who will be scoring 30 points in a playoff game next year for the Thunder.
That's exactly right. If I was any other GM, I'd just wait to see who Presti scoops up and then send him like a future first-round pick for that guy.
There you go. We've made a mistake.
Ryan, thanks for joining us as always, and I'll talk to you soon, man.
Cheers.